Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 210, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan. I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
Hey, Brian, it is October 18th, 2020 as we record this. I want to put this down because I want there to be sort of a stick pin in time to signify the fact that we are like 2 weeks away from the election.
Yes.
And it feels like the entire world is like clenched super tight.
Yes.
And we're waiting to exhale, but we don't know if when we do exhale, we will inhale toxic fumes.
I know. And, you know, the thing about this that's so almost, I think not enough people are thinking about is that the night, like we have the date, right, of the election, but I don't think we're going to have some sort of definitive result that day. Like this could get stretched out. You know, I mean, because ballots are being allowed several days after that date to be received by mail, which is fantastic, of course. But it would be nice if we actually had a definitive deadline, and the winner is, you know, kind of moment. But
wouldn't that be nice?
I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to get stretched out. We may be clinched for a little while.
That's the problem. Everybody's sort of waiting to just like. You know, and you know, I feel. You know what I feel? America is going to be like Tom Hanks at the end of Captain Phillips.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, like take a stethoscope to our chest. Like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm really happy to.
You just like
just so happy to
bust out crying. Yeah.
Yes, and not to make light of that moment. It was a powerful moment, but I think you're right. I think that's a really good analogy. I think it will be like that. You
know what's crazy is you know, we're in California, and it was, you know, the governor was like, everybody who's a registered voter, we're just going to give you a mail ballot, right, just across the board, and so you know, we got our ballots. I mean, I got mine last week. I'm assuming you got yours around the same time.
Yeah.
So I drop it in the mail Friday, and yesterday I get an email from the county. We received your ballot. It's going to be counted. Boom.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, that's great. And then, you know, you read about like other parts of the country. Like my point is, we take for granted here in California how easy it is to vote.
Yeah.
Because in Georgia and whatnot, people straight up be lining up for 11 hours.
I mean, honestly, like, hats off. I see these pictures, and I mean, that really is dedication.
Right?
Yeah. So you're right. I guess I've seen those pictures, and I've been like, wow. But I guess I haven't even put it into contrast of my experience where, yes, I just got my thing in the mail, and I've already filled it out. You know, it's... Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of, and admittedly this election might be one of the rare exceptions, but there are a few things in my life I can think of that I would wait 11 hours for.
Yeah.
Like
just
actively.
stand in line. Yeah.
Like if my wife was in labor and the doctor's like, we're looking at about 11 hours, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to go home and take a nap and just ping me when this thing starts ramping up.
Right.
That would be me.
Right.
It hasn't been the case because they've all come very quickly. But I'm just saying, if I had to wait 11 hours, I'd probably take a nap. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, those people deserve a pat on the back. they deserve more than that. But that's admirable. That's like what the best of us, right? I mean, that's what we...
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the ways in which in certain parts of the country, it's really bananas, right? Because we don't have sort of a set, you know, this is how voting goes. It's state by state. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my brother was telling me this because his in-laws live in Texas. I mean, there is, if you want to drop off your mail-in ballot, there is one drop box per county.
Right. I've read about that.
Per county, right? So for them, it was a 45-minute drive.
Wow.
So here's the crazy part. He was telling me this. This is my brother's father-in-law. He's dropping off the ballot for himself and his wife, and they drop it, and he's got his ID, and then they're like, "Well, do you have her ID?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, you got to have that." So he drives back, gets her, gets in the car with her. They go back. So in other words, we're talking about like 3 hours all told.
Wow.
Just
so
you know,
everybody deserves a pat on the back except us.
that's really like I mean, it's that like even in person, I don't think I've spent more than 10 minutes voting ever in my life.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I'm very fortunate. There's a polling place literally across the street from me. So it's always just been like I can look out my window, go, oh, that line doesn't look too bad. And I just walk over. Yeah.
So kudos to everybody who's lining
Yes.
up as we speak and as hopefully they're listening to the movie film show to pass the time.
Hey, that'd be cool. Yeah.
That would be a nice thing. So if in fact if you're listening to this while you're in line to vote, send us a note telling us that, because I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I hope it's not weird, but sending a virtual hug over to you.
There you go.
Put my arm around you, giving a squeeze. That's cool. That's man, I never even considered that could even be a possibility. That's kind of cool to think about.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
So what have you seen lately, Brian?
Well, was that last year? There was this movie that came out called Lucy in the Sky, which was by Noah Hawley, who did Legion for FX. He did the Fargo series, and this was his feature debut as a director.
Right.
And I really enjoyed Fargo. I think even season 3, which I didn't think was nearly as great as the others, I still just am pretty riveted with that show and what it does. So when I heard about this movie, basically it's this is the IMDb description. Astronaut Lucy Cola returns to Earth after a transcendent experience during a mission to space and begins to lose touch with reality in a world that now seems too small. And I was like, oh, that just sounds like something I'd love.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I looked forward to it. I mean, it was a sort of calendar movie for me. Like, oh, I really want to see that when that comes out. And then it arrived, and I'm looking at it on IMDb. It has a 4.8 out of 10, right. Which even bad movies have like a 5.
Right.
And I think I was seeing it get like D's, 1 star. And I thought, what? It just seems so weird. I mean, I love this guy as a storyteller. I love Natalie Portman.
Now this is based on the diaper astronaut woman.
Well, you know what's funny? Yes, and to further clarify for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, there was a true story several years back where an astronaut basically put on a diaper and went in a car with weapons and drove across several states to go kidnap another astronaut. And of course, the only thing people remember about that is that she wore a diaper.
Yes.
And I read in an AV Club review, who I hugely respect, even though they're very, very harsh. I think they dedicated an entire paragraph to the fact that this movie didn't include the diaper detail. And I was like, I mean, yeah, but really, you're really hung up on that.
But okay, here's the thing. I mean, yes, it's obviously reductive to call her the diaper astronaut. On the other hand,
it's a fascinating detail.
Here's my point. Imagine achieving everything in life you need to become an astronaut.
Yes.
And doing one thing that ensures that the word diaper will be affixed to the word astronaut when describing you forever.
For the rest of your life.
That's yes, astronaut, but there's a thing that comes right before that, forever.
Right. Which, and I don't know to what degree this movie is actually, I think it said inspired by real events. It's
loosely inspired by, is my understanding.
Yeah. So anyway, it didn't bother me that wasn't in there. But anyway, so I was like, oh, wow, these horrible reviews. That's too bad. But I eventually want to get around to this. And then it showed up on HBO a couple weeks ago. And I got to say, I kind of liked it.
Really?
I don't know.
Wow.
It's I can't say that it's a great movie per se, but I thought it had a lot of intriguing elements. All the things I sort of expected that I thought would sort of hook me, engage me, and draw me into this were there. And so I thought it made it at least a worthwhile HBO movie.
Wow.
I think the concept is pretty ripe. This woman sort of losing touch with reality after seeing something no one else will understand, and then she sort of allows her home life to unravel, and she's just bound and determined to go back to the point of being, really cutthroat with some of the other astronauts. And I don't know, her spiral was sort of interesting, and then it leads, to this big crescendo. And I thought Portman was good. I thought the directing was interesting. It uses aspect ratio in a way that I think made a lot of people roll their eyes. It's like this it's become this fad to sort of do the 4:3 thing.
Right, yeah.
And I don't mind it when it's used to effect, right? And I didn't mind it in this, but he goes even further, and there's a moment where someone's golfing, and you see them hit the ball, and it goes, to the green, but he makes the widescreen so narrow that all you see is basically the guy and the green. So it's huge chunks of the screen. So he keeps futzing with it in a way that I was like, I don't know. I was just along for the ride.
Interesting. Okay.
But I think the problem with it is, like I say, there was things that I thought she was great. I thought like I said, the intrigue of it was interesting. But I think the problem, and I agree with this from the reviews, is that it never added up to any sort of epiphany. And I think, and I understand that was sort of disappointing. So it didn't feel fully rounded, maybe, or like what's the statement, I guess. But having said that, like I didn't mind it as a ride, right? And so I don't feel like I've seen this story before. I was engaged throughout, and I thought it wasn't a bad Tuesday night cable experiment.
Okay.
So and that's not even me like backpedaling or anything. Like I'd be curious if people checked it out, what they thought, because I definitely don't think it's as bad as everybody's saying.
So you might say, when it comes to the movie about the diaper astronaut, Brian is not going with the flow. Those other critics are full of crap.
Right.
Poop.
Yeah, I wouldn't poo-poo this movie so easily, Zachy.
This is it, folks. This is the rest of the show. For the next about 82 minutes, it's just going to be poop puns. That's it.
Oh, dude, we're just going to piss the whole episode away.
And we don't care who we piss off. So there you go.
Right.
Okay, so a surprise verdict on Lucy. I gotta say, if they called it Lucy in her diaper, maybe it would have done better.
Right.
I don't know. All right, so that is Lucy in the Sky. What else? Anything else you've seen recently?
Well, so this was kind of like cool. I went and saw a movie on a screen again.
I don't believe you. I didn't know that happens anymore.
Right. So as I guess has been happening for the past several months, because a lot of indoor movie theaters can't open, drive-ins have been popping up, or ones that have already existed have been sort of thriving, right? And so a friend of ours who has been taking equal care of herself and her surroundings, and suggested we go see The Karate Kid.
Nice.
At I guess a pop-up drive-in by us. And so it was me, two friends, and my brother. And I think it was funny. I think we all had a little like, yeah, are we cool with this? We gonna do this? Like, we're gonna get in a car together and go do this? But yeah, we felt okay with it, and we went there, and it was interesting. I mean, everyone's wearing masks, and it was $65 a car, but split 4 ways. That's $16 each, and we each got unlimited popcorn, a Coke, and candy, and a movie. And we're like, yeah, it's kind of great. So we pulled into our spot. It was all filled up. Everybody kind of stayed in their cars. I saw everybody was wearing masks. It was just really well run, and it was really fun to see a movie that you already love projected again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun time, and it made me eager to do it again. And what's funny is when we were driving away, I've been to pop-up drive-ins before, but it occurred to me that this particular instance was out of necessity, right? This was the only way. I know it's not true for the whole country, but for at least in my area, this is the only way to see a movie. Like, I almost forgot why we had to do it this way, right? It's because we're in this situation that is just so unique and sort of sad.
Yeah.
So it felt extra special, I suppose. And also weird that the only movie we could go see last night was The Karate Kid,
Right.
So, but it was cool. Do you have those around you, or?
Well, I mentioned we have an actual drive-in about half an hour away, and then my wife just told me about this. They're doing kind of a pop-up thing for Ghostbusters.
Oh, for Halloween?
Yeah, so this coming week. So we may go see that. I'm not sure yet.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting in a car with 5 children for several hours is not something I find particularly, worth getting enthused about. But we'll see.
There were people there. We were in a sedan, but there were people there who were in SUVs, and they could sort of, put the seats back and pop up the rear, whatever that thing's called. And so they had sort of like a weird couch that they were able to build, and that definitely seemed like a pretty comfortable way to go.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I'm not sure what your vehicle's like, but
yeah, no, I think we can do something with our seats. Yeah, that might be an option.
yeah. But then
cool.
speaking of sort of going back and watching the older films, I think, did you mention on the show that you had watched Toy Soldiers?
No, I watched it, and I had texted you and was like, dude, you got to revisit Toy Soldiers.
Yeah, so I did. And this comes from 1991. And I mean, this is like Sean Astin.
I was about to say, this is a movie that it didn't occur to me that not many people remember it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this is a complete staple of my childhood.
Yes.
I mean, this was especially, I remember watching this multiple times at sleepovers. Either we'd have like someone's parent rent it for us because it was rated R, or it'd be on cable or something. But this was a total, I mean, I've seen this many, many times. I remembered the score. I didn't know that I did, but once it started playing,
Yeah.
I could hum it. So yeah, this was definitely, yeah, a staple for us. But yeah, it's surprising what a blip this was for everybody.
For everyone else.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking like Sean Astin, Will Wheaton, Keith Coogan, Louis Gossett Jr. I mean, this is the most 1991.
It really...
Denholm Elliott,
Yes.
right?
One of his last
Marcus Brody.
performances, right?
Yeah, and then Arlie Emery. I had no idea he was in this.
I totally forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Shadow, I think. Not even to reveal him. He just happened to be in Shadow when he was introduced, and I heard his voice, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Arlie Ermey's
Arlie
in this.
Emery?
And he just passed away recently, a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's right. But, well, for most of you, I guess, who haven't seen this, again, summary here is a group of troublemaking boys decide to take a stand when terrorists seize control of their boarding school, which just feels a little out of time now. Like there's a scene. I remember enjoying this movie because it was a very, like, what would you do?
Yes.
You're
Yep.
a kid and bad guys take over your school. There's sort of a Red Dawn element. What if you were in a classroom and
Yeah.
bad guys fell out of the sky? And now, it's just, I was going to say school shootings, but just public shootings being just rampant, and so
Well, I
disturbing
mean,
and
terrorism isn't the light, breezy entertainment that it used to be.
Well, that's that too, but it's just like there's a scene where this kid tries to make a phone call and a teacher runs up to help him as like a bad guy's kind of harassing him, and they just casually shoot the teacher in the head,
Yep.
and then like drag him away, and I'm like, ugh, like
Yep.
it just feels way too. I mean, it's weird to say, but just like ripped from the headlines in a sort of way, and you're like, oh, this is kind of disturbing, but yeah, I mean, it is. It's a fun movie about like these. This is like very bipolar, but it was a blast. but no, it is. I mean, when you take it for what it is, and it's just like, it's basically these like, I don't know what you call them. Aren't they like drug dealers or?
Yeah, it's like a cartel.
It's like a cartel, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's seeing the kids like ingenuity. And you got the kid who's good with microchips, and the kid who's a good artist, and
Yeah, it is
they all
right.
sort of work together, and then you got the bad boy who's willing to put it all together.
See, Brian, here it's a weird thing because we both saw this when it came out, so we were like 11-ish, right?
Yeah,
And it's weird to say about this R-rated movie that does very much earns its R rating.
which was surprising to me. I had forgotten. I
Yeah.
knew it was rated R, but I didn't realize that it was like, oh no, this is like a solid R movie.
Yeah, right. It was because I watched it with my kids.
Yeah,
And my baseline was like, I saw this, and it didn't scar me. And like within like the first 10 minutes, you have these kids, they hack a phone sex line,
right. Yeah, which I had totally forgotten about.
and
yeah.
so I'm like, skip, and
Yeah.
but it's even with it being so hard R, it is so aimed at kids,
It absolutely is, which is so funny, isn't it?
right?
Yeah. I mean, it still feels like if my 12-year-old snuck past me and watched this at a sleepover, I'd be like, enjoy, my son. Like, sort of, like, I don't know. It's sort of, the bad things are bad, I guess. right?
Yeah.
But it really did feel like, I wouldn't call it so far as a rite of passage, but it definitely was like a sort of seminal tween movie for me.
I agree with that. And I was actually genuinely surprised how much I enjoyed it this time because I have not seen it since the 90s.
No, probably same. Yeah.
You know? And I was really pulled in. And I enjoyed watching it with the kids because it I don't know. I liked all this stuff, like where they're making these plans and they're doing like it's very much. I mean, again, that's stuff that as a kid you think about. At least I did.
What's that? Like this sort of
like
fantasy scenario? Like what would I do?
Yeah, like not literally. Like I hope terrorists take over so I can be
right.
Not that obviously, but like, you think like, oh man, I would love to like go through the pipes and do the thing. Like that's what you think about when you're a kid.
Absolutely. And then even there's that scene where he does run to go meet with the troops nearby.
Yeah.
But he's got to get back. He has a window and he has to get back. And then, the time is up and you're like, well, what's going to happen? Like, you just really...
Yeah.
But yeah, you can sort... It's relatable to... Like, a 12-year-old could understand those stakes and put themselves in that situation.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, I it's funny because my clearest memory of watching it as a kid is me and my brother were watching this in Saudi Arabia. My dad's like reading a newspaper or something, and you have the scene where Will Wheaton, whose dad is like a mob boss.
Yeah.
So like out of courtesy to his dad, they like cut him loose.
Yeah.
And Will Wheaton's like, F you and F my father. And like right then my dad, like he turns down he pulls down his newspaper like, what are you guys watching?
Right.
No, I enjoyed it. I don't know. I think you said it's like, there's a Red Dawn flavor. It's like Goonies meets Red Dawn minus like the really blatant right wing propaganda.
Totally. Yeah.
And
I think that's how you could pitch it.
And if that sounds appealing, I suspect you'll like it. But I'm genuinely curious because, for those of you listening, Brian and I, we got our history that we're bringing to this. If you end up watching this with just based on us talking about it, I genuinely want to know what you think.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It has such a weird, I wouldn't call it weird. It just has a really unique tone. And it is kind of silly.
Yes.
But it never hops the fence into Silly Town.
Yes.
Right? It kind of treads by the fence. But it also takes what's happening very seriously, right? So I wonder how an adult for the first time would take this movie.
What you just said is, I think, really crucial, right? It's consistent within the world it creates.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't wink at the audience.
Right.
And I think that's really crucial. I keep saying like there's no Jamie Kennedy, and I feel like Jamie Kennedy is getting like he's become the receptacle of like postmodern irony in movies.
Oh, right.
Solely because that's like who he played in Scream,
Right.
There's no that character's like, hey, this is like Die Hard, guys. Like there's no one doing that.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great point because 6 years later, there would have been that guy.
Yeah.
So we're going to McLeane it down the elevator.
Yeah,
and, has to reference it. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm like, I appreciate that there's sort of a purity within the movie where they don't feel the need to do that. And I will say this, I saw this movie before I saw The Goonies.
Oh, interesting.
So this was my introduction to Sean Astin. I only knew him as a profanity spewing hoodlum,
right.
Before I saw him as
bootlegger or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, I found that amusing.
That is funny.
But good movie. I did enjoy it, and I would absolutely recommend it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you nudged me because I was totally. I can't even tell you. I texted my brother as I was watching because there were so many things I remembered from it, and so I said, Dan, tonight you're going to be visited by the ghost of movie past. Three movie ghosts. And then I just sent him a clip of like one, moment and then another moment. And then, the pots and pans moment. Cause we still joke about that. Pots and pans?
Pots and pans.
And he was like, wow. He's like, I remembered word for word every moment you sent me. So it's in there. It's burned in there.
It took up residence. So here's the thing I just watched this week. The on HBO Max they put out a West Wing. I was going to say reunion special, but Aaron Sorkin has been very vehement that this is not a reunion special. It's not Very Brady Christmas.
Right.
But it is a special that reunites the surviving cast, and it's actually quite clever in that it is it's an episode of the show that they rewrote to be
Rewrote?
performed as a stage play.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's been retooled slightly.
Slightly, yeah. So I mean, it helps that the episode in question, which is Hartsfield Landing from season 3 of the show, was itself pretty much a bottle show. So, and for those of you listening who don't know what a bottle show is, it's where if you have a long-running TV series, occasionally to keep the costs for the season down, to amortize costs for when you go on location, you have a bottle episode where you just work off of the existing sets.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like in Breaking Bad when they're stuck in the lab and there's a fly.
Yeah,
inside,
right. That's
and
a perfect
they
example.
Never leave the lab. It's all
That's-
about taking place in one location.
That is a perfect bottle show. So, occasionally, whenever you have an episode of a show where they're stuck in an elevator and they're remembering
Right.
previous exploits, okay, well, they're trying to save money. So with the West Wing, I mean, it helps that the existing sets were quite expansive. You had the Oval Office, and you had like 2/3 of the White House basically were built. So the episode was a bottle show, and then they sort of they took, I mean, almost verbatim. I couldn't pick up any major differences, but they took that episode and they restaged it for the stage, and it's ostensibly, I mean, it's to promote voter registration. So throughout the episode, during the act breaks, in lieu of commercials, they had, in essence, PSAs by the various cast members and by, like, Lin-Manuel Miranda, et cetera, being like, it's so important to vote and this and that. And the thing there is, what I can't imagine that there's significant overlap between people who A, want to watch The West Wing, B, have HBO Max, and C, are not already registered to vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is not even preaching to the choir. This is like the choir preaching to itself, right?
Sure.
That said, I mean, you know me. You know what a big fan of The West Wing I am. I mean, this is, without equivocation, my favorite series of all time.
I gotta watch it. I've never seen it.
This is, back in the day, folks, Brian was working at Warner Brothers on the Warner Brothers lot.
Uh-huh.
And you had a discount at the Warner Brothers store.
Yeah.
And so I had you apply your Warner Brothers store discount to get me the DVD sets of The West Wing. So this is like, we're talking mid-2000s.
Yeah.
And I remember that very clearly because back then, they used to put out seasons on DVD, which isn't really a thing anymore.
Yeah, that was one of the best perks, actually, about working on lots.
It's true.
The 24, and all that, pretty cheap.
So it's like, I've watched this show, I don't even know how many times. I'm currently rewatching it again. I'm about wrapping it up. And this is my second time through watching it with my oldest son.
Oh, wow, really?
So he watched
Second
it with
time.
me 4 years ago when he was 9, and then now he's 13. We're going through it again. Right.
Wow. How many seasons?
7.
Oh, that's nice. I'm sure as a fan at the time, I was like, no. But
Yeah.
7 sounds like I can do that.
It's entirely doable, right? So again, I live and breathe the show, and there are critiques to be had about like, it's funny because I didn't know this. There's an entire podcast dedicated to tearing down The West Wing.
What?
Yeah, it's called The West Wing Thing. And basically the crux of the argument is that this show gave people sort of a vastly overstated sense of that view of politics, whatever, the Aaron Sorkin's worldview. And so it ruined an entire generation to come after. And I'm like, I don't know about all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to me, that's like saying Star Trek: The Next Generation it ruined our view of space travel.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I mean, that's putting a lot on a fictionalized television show. And also, I mean, it just feels like, why would you want to spend all that time just tearing something down? Like,
Right?
let's show up again on Sunday afternoon to record just to tear down this show.
Yeah,
that's not even
and
on
an
anymore.
entire podcast, so episode by episode, and I'm like, well, that just seems like a lot, and no, I don't want to, because I've gotten that from people. Oh, you should listen to it. I'm like, no, why?
Right.
Well, I like this, so I would like to keep liking it. Then I'm
Yeah.
fine, But anyway,
Would you say? I'm sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, would you call the show perhaps aspirational? And they're saying that putting those sorts of hopes in people is risky because then it puts them in some sort of fantasy land or something? Or what's
That seems to be the crux of their critique.
okay?
And yeah, aspirational is the word because the term I use is the West Wing is competence porn.
Right, which I love. I just can't believe you're making me eager to cue this up even this week.
I mean, and that's the thing, right? I mean, it's coming from a left wing point of view, but I'm just like, I mean, that's the show is about. It's like people saying, look, we're in a position, we're in government where we can do something to make a difference. Let's work together. Let's try to get stuff done. And I'm like, well, that's life, and I don't think it's a bad thing to look at these kind of characters and say, man, because I was just watching an episode the other day with my wife, and I was like, the cool thing about this show is what I was telling her. I was like, you don't watch it and be like, man, I wish I was the president. But you're like, man, I wish I knew these people. I wish I could work with all these people. Mm-hmm. I wish my day-to-day interactions were with these people, and we were talking about interesting things. And
Yeah.
that's what that show did really well. Mm-hmm. And to me, that makes it different from something like ER, for example, which I'm watching right now, where I'm like, I love watching it, but I've never at any point watched that show been like, man, I would love to work in the emergency room.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so for me, and I'll tell you, 4 years ago, I watched it with my kid, and we finished the show, and he tells me, oh, by the way, I'm running for class president in my class.
Really?
And he's not like, I watch West Wing and that's what I want to do, but it's just like, it put him in that mode, right? And I was like, well, isn't that cool? Like, to me, that's cool.
I think that's cool. Yeah.
And so anyway, long story short, this show coming back, and it's actually very funny because this just shows how our listeners know us so well. This is a tweet from Maddie Fack, Maddie Amazing, and he says, "I wonder if Zachy's Corner has consulted a doctor yet. It's been more than 4 hours since the West Wing announcement trailer, and that lack of blood flow to the brain is dangerous." And then he adds, "My fingers are crossed they don't announce an ER reunion. You might die." Which I love how our listeners know us really well,
Yeah.
But they got the surviving cast together. Now John Spencer, who appeared on the cast, he was the chief of staff on the series. He died actually during the run of the series in the last season. Oh. So for the purposes of this stage play, they replaced him with Sterling K. Brown.
Okay.
And he just slips right into it. I mean, it's just pure. I mean, it's like a warm embrace of nostalgia. It's just like a cup of warm cocoa with marshmallows in it. That's what this hour is. I wouldn't recommend it as anybody's first exposure to the show.
Sure.
But if you're like a fan, I mean, it's these people back playing these characters in a story that we've seen before. But so what?
Right.
I don't know. I wrote a little thing about this for the paper just a couple days ago, and what I said in there is, the show gave us a vision of public service as something honorable, something decent. Mm-hmm. And when we compare that with so much other political television, right? You have Veep, which is everybody in government is incompetent.
Right.
You have House of Cards, where everyone is malevolent. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, this is something different. This is just people who are in the job and they're just trying to do the best they can. And I'm like, maybe it is a Pollyanna, right? Maybe it is just pie in the sky. But what's wrong with presenting something that says, well, maybe this is something. These are characters that are worth emulating. I don't see that as a bad thing,
Yeah, I like the way you said that because I think it's worth having a balanced perspective.
Right.
Right? Like a lot of these people are awful.
Yeah.
And that's worth keeping in mind, right, and paying attention to. But on the other hand, the potential
Yeah.
of these positions, that's something to, maybe it is a little bit wish fulfillment, but also look at your son. You know, if it sparks anything in him and he's coming from a good, earnest place, like, isn't that the way you want them to be inspired, rather than, hey, you want to do something corrupt and whatever, and then your son's like, I want that. That's, I don't know. I don't think it's as simple as just slamming it down, like you said.
I mean, obviously there's a rhythm and lyricality to Aaron Sorkin's writing that it feels to me you're either down with or you're not. Because it's fine. I've met plenty of people. I've encountered plenty of people who just are not fans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, I mean, that's fine. But I'll say it. I mean, to me, there's no such thing as too Sorkin-y.
I agree, and I wouldn't disagree with anyone who feels the other way.
Yeah.
It's different strokes, but I mean, I think of something like The Social Network.
Yeah.
And it just is like a massage for my brain.
Yeah, right.
Like I just like delight in, like, of course people don't talk like that. Like, yeah, no kidding, But,
right.
Like it's a play, it's an interpretation, it's art. And that's just a vision, and I really delight in the use of language that way, and it's just rubs me the right way, and I just enjoy seeing people perform it.
There's a rhythm to the right. I've said this in my classes. I'm like, I look at Rod Serling and Aaron Sorkin as, like, for me, the touchstones of screenwriting that have so much shaped my concept of what good writing sounds like. And I think about that all the time. Serling and Sorkin as, like, the poles of that.
Yeah.
There's this one episode I remember where one character. So this Bradley Whitford's character, he's handling a press briefing in lieu of Allison Janney, and he says something like, "Hey, you sure you want your question to be that stupid?" or something like that. And then later on in the episode, everyone's giving him a hard time because he just totally shit the bed during this briefing. And Rob Lowe is like, hey, I got to tell you, calling a reporter's question stupid isn't exactly a page out of Dale Carnegie. And I remember watching that and being like, that sounds clever. I don't know what it's a reference to, but that's
right.
Clearly,
Yeah.
And then completely unrelated, many moons later, I find, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And I'm like,
oh, that's funny.
like...
See, I enjoy being challenged like that. It makes me think of watching The Simpsons, right? When, growing up, and they would reference all these things.
Yeah.
And I would know they're being so specific, it had to be something.
Right,
I didn't know what it was, but along the way, I found those things, and it was very rewarding. I hope to continue to have that experience.
That's the thing. I mean, the older we get, the less we have those moments.
Yeah.
It's the wittiness of the back and forth, But anyway, that's what I like. Nice. I like me some Sorkin. And speaking of, this has been a good week for Sorkin-y business. If that's
Sorkin heads.
Now I watched Trial of the Chicago 7 on which just dropped on Netflix. I watched it earlier in the week. I was on your case about watching it. But I don't know if you watched it.
I did watch it. Yes, I did. Watched it yesterday. I've been looking forward to this.
So by way of context here, I feel like many people do not know what the Chicago 7 were and what the deal was with all that.
I certainly didn't. I knew about the whole Democratic National Convention from 1968. I knew that was a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right? But I did not have anything more than that. So when this movie started, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to learn."
Yeah, right. So this, what's funny is you saying that was exactly Aaron Sorkin when he first got the gig.
Oh, well, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, because the development on this thing started in like 2007.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it was gonna be Steven Spielberg directing.
Right.
Which is not in the least bit surprising when you watch the film.
Oh, no. This is so Papa Spielberg.
Right?
Potential.
Potentially.
Yeah, this feels like in his current wheelhouse.
So Spielberg eventually drops out. Spielberg wanted Sorkin to write a script that he would direct. Spielberg eventually drops out. Sorkin, by the way, is like, he's like, oh, sure, I'll write it. And then he goes home and he's like, I should probably research what the hell I just agreed to.
Yeah, right.
Right. And I have a feeling that is the case for many of us, because even myself, I consider myself reasonably informed about, politics of the last 50 years. I only in the very broadest of broad strokes knew about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I'm sure I've heard it referenced in some other documentary.
Yeah,
but I had no context or details about this.
That's absolutely right. So this was a real life event involving what started out as 10 and then eventually became 8 and then 7 people who were tried by the Nixon Justice Department for a protest that resulted in a riot and police violence, and it was meant as a sort of a reprisal for anti-Vietnam War protesting and to sort of send a message. Mm-hmm. And probably the most well-known defendant was Abby Hoffman,
yep,
who is played in the film by Sacha Baron Cohen. But there were several people involved, and it ultimately became a for all of the protestations by the defense attorney that no, there are no political trials in America. Mm-hmm. This was a political trial.
Yeah.
So Aaron Sorkin directs from his own script. He assembles the kind of cast that Aaron Sorkin is able to put together. Mm-hmm. So you got Eddie Redmayne, like I said, Sacha Baron Cohen, Frank Langella as the judge, John Carroll Lynch. I almost feel like this is a spoiler, but Michael Keaton is in here for like a minute.
Right.
And it's and of course Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, the list goes on. And I will just say this is, if not the best, certainly one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Yeah, this just while we're talking about cast super quickly, Eddie Redmayne and Joseph Gordon-Levitt are two people where I like them when I like them, and I don't always like them.
Yes,
like sometimes I feel like they're miscast or they have to push too hard to do the thing that's required of them, and it's just kind of not them. I thought they were both used to great effect in this.
I agree.
I was like, this is their sweet spot, and I enjoyed them along with everybody else in this movie. So I just want to call that out. But yeah, no, this was funny. As it started, because it's on Netflix, so I just plopped on my couch and queued it up, and then the big DreamWorks logo appears. I was like, oh, this is like a screener movie. Like this is an Oscar movie, right?
It's not a Netflix movie.
Wait, what's that?
It's not a Netflix movie.
No, like this is something that I would either had hoped to have gotten a screener to watch, or I would have made my way out to a theater to watch, and now it's just beamed into my home. Like, yep. And this year, whatever those quote unquote Oscar movies are, we're all getting screeners. Right? We're all getting to watch this from our couch.
That's true.
And I am so torn about that because I really dig it. And on the other hand, I'm like, oh no, like theaters. Like I couldn't help but feel that a little bit. Yeah. But no, I agree with you. It felt so good to watch something new that was just really well written and really engaging. It just felt like it had been a while. And I've been a little critical of streaming movies. They feel a little unpolished, and they feel a little, like they just haven't been shapen as they're not as disciplined as something that makes it past the gates to get in theaters. That's been, I would say, not all of them, but too many of them.
Yeah.
And so this just felt really nice to watch, like a good, solid, movie.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple other performances I wanted to call out. Mark Rylance.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So good in this.
Talk about perfect casting. Like when you cast someone to bring the thing that only they can bring.
Yeah.
Boom. Like he's just... Only he could bring that complete spectrum of that personality and character to that. He was so good.
What's so crazy is the way the film is structured, right? It starts out with this litany of characters. We see them about to go off for this thing. Mm-hmm. Hey, see you soon, or don't worry, I'll be careful, like all the different, and then we jump to 7 months later as they're all about to go on trial.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like, some kind of shit went down.
Yeah.
Right? And I love that that information is then backfilled through all these multitudes of perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And what that allows for is, without spoiling anything, the climax of the film, the dramatic breakthrough happens not in the courtroom, but in a courtroom-like scenario. And again, I'm trying to step gingerly because I think it's worth just experiencing. But it ultimately it's the performance. Mark Rylance, Eddie Redmayne, who I agree with you. I think I'm kind of hot and cold with him. I really liked him in this.
Yeah, he's so that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he is very much. It feels like he is the most like Sorkin surrogate character in this movie.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of his back and forth with Sacha Baron Cohen. And then I wanted to mention Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Amazing, and
Yeah.
so he plays Bobby Seale, co-founder of the Black Panther Party, and he's just sort of lumped in. Mm-hmm. He had nothing to do with it, but it's like, oh, Black Panthers, people are scared of the Black Panthers, let's throw them in. I mean, it's unfortunately, this is the reality is the parallels with the current moment are a little too unsettling.
Yeah. It's not eerie, but it's just sad.
Yeah. And so his character undergoes some stuff which is horrifying when you watch it.
Yeah, there was two moments where I felt like a lump in my throat. And it was, his moment in the courtroom, and there's a moment too in the park where they attack this woman with a flag.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, it just made me burn
Yeah.
with anger and just like almost like tears. It's hard to watch some of these things.
What's crazy is what makes it almost more painful to watch what the film shows with Bobby Seale is that in actuality it extended even longer than is shown in the film.
What did?
The what he goes through in court, like by
really?
the end, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
It stretched on for a much longer, like several days.
Like that?
Yes.
I'm getting like sick.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
No.
Right. So I don't want to spoil anything, which is why I'm hoping that our conversation, people are intrigued enough to listen, from listening to watch it. But I mean, it just worked for me. I don't know. It's hard for me to, because I reviewed this for IGN and I was like, I give it a 10 as far as I'm concerned. There are flaws in there, but I just think the totality of the experience was very engrossing and it makes you mad. It makes you energized. It kind of hits all those bases.
Yeah. I agree with exactly what you just said. Like, I mean, I didn't think it was perfect, and there were even moments when I thought about Spielberg. Yes. And how his directorial style might have dug in a little further and sort of clutched me. Yeah. But I mean, this is his second film, right?
And it's a quantum leap ahead of Molly's Game.
I would absolutely agree. And there were a couple moments. There was a sort of a tense moment between Hayden and Rylance's character, which is super good. And I don't even mean to even give a note to it, but there was part of me in my memory. I was like, I wonder if you might have wanted to push the camera in. Just I bet Spielberg would have gotten right in their faces. I mean, those are honestly, I almost even not regret, but I'm hesitant to say those things because you don't want to talk about the movie that wasn't made. This is the movie that was made, but I can't help but do those things because how my mind works. But all that, I mean, that's not, like I say, you are agreeing with you, the totality of it, those little nitpicks and things that you could imagine Spielberg, might have done with it, just don't matter. Like, I mean, the totality of it is, it's a really, I thought, a worthwhile experience, and I was gripped and engaged and totally into the ride. And what was interesting, and I hope this. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
This is sort of from the end, and we can cut this if you think this is too much. But I thought what was interesting, I really loved the Reuben character. I just thought he had such an interesting, Sacha Baron Cohen as Abby Hoffman, who, by the way, I was like, is that the guy who introduced Forrest Gump? At the mall in Washington? And I was like, it is. Like, I had to Google him. I was like, wow, that's kind of wild to actually sort of learn about that guy. Because I didn't know much else about him other than that. And that he wrote the book Steal This Book, which I've
Yes.
totally heard that title and I've heard it sort of riffed on. I didn't
Yep.
know that was written by that person. But what was interesting about Ruben is he's given, whether it's true or not, but they, as a character, they give him kind of a whole range of emotions, right? Where he's sort of, they let him sort of have ups and downs and even some heartbreaks. And I was just really, I really plugged into that guy. I was really engaged with him.
And it's a great performance by Jeremy Strong, who is like one of the great character actors working today.
Yeah. I don't even know that I knew who that was when I was watching him, and then I Googled him, and I was like, "What?" Like, it's just a transformation.
He has been in so many great films in the last like 5 years, and he's distinctive in each of them. I just happened to rewatch The Big Short this past week, right before I watched this. So I went into this completely cold. I didn't know who that was in the cast or anything because I just wanted to watch it. So when I was like, wait, that was Jeremy Strong, who I just saw yesterday in The Big Short,
right?
And
Wow.
he's on Succession right now. That's probably what he's most known for these days.
Okay. Well, I don't want to spoil the ending, and this isn't even part of the ending of the movie, but I don't want to color anything for people. But I would say after the movie, Google this guy.
Yes,
Because the rest of his life is just like, huh?
the exact opposite
Yeah.
of everything that he's about in the movie, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, as long as we're going to even say that.
I mean, it's history. It happened.
It is history. I was like, they called him a yippie, right? And I was like, he went from yippie to yuppie, which is just wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, I wanted to call it. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt. I'm more interested in your thoughts on this than mine. But
No, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say there was a quote in there that really stood out to me when the headquarters for these guys, they call it the conspiracy something or other.
That's right. Yeah.
And the lawyer is like, do you really want to, just toss out the word conspiracy willy-nilly? And she's like, oh, the people know it's a joke. People are smart. And then the lawyer says, well, if you believe people are smart, be prepared to be disappointed every day for the rest of your life. And I was like, wow, it struck me because it just feels so, in my angriest mood, I feel like I could just throw out that quote thinking about today
Yeah.
and this moment. And then I thought, I personally don't wholeheartedly stand behind that quote. I think it's a little reductive, even though I feel that from time to time. But it reminded me of what I think is the perfect quote on the situation. Then, now, probably forever, which is from Men in Black.
Dude, I swear to you, as you were saying this, I was pulling up the Men in Black quote because I was like, here's a better quote.
I think this more accurately represents how I feel, which is...
Folks, before Brian even says it, this is why this show works.
Yes!
I just want to point that out.
Yeah, because I don't think everybody's stupid. I don't. I think far too many people are uninformed and whatever, but I love in Men in Black, he says, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals. So it's like groupthink. Groupthink can allow
Brian,
people...
I just want to add what Tommy Lee Jones says right after that adds so much richness to that.
Oh, please.
He says 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that humans were alone on this planet. Think of what you'll know tomorrow.
Yep.
Isn't that something?
I think Men in Black, honestly, is a gem of a movie. I've heard on some other podcasts, some people kind of rip on it. And I'm like, really? I always thought that was like this cool, unique little gem of a movie. But regardless of how you feel about that movie, that quote that should be like chiseled somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just, that's how I feel. But I couldn't help, but I'm certain that's kind of what they were aiming for too in that moment.
I think that quote, which is attributed to, who says it in the film?
I don't remember her name, but it's the woman who runs the phones at their headquarters.
Right.
I don't know that. Now I feel. What's her name? I'm like scrolling through IMDb right now.
It's fine. Regardless, that idea of like, people, if you believe people are smart, then be ready to be disappointed. I think that certainly that plays into just a collective cynicism. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think, I try not to view the world that way.
Yeah, I like to think of myself as a cynical optimist.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Where it's like I get disappointed far too often and I can get a little jaded because of it, but ultimately deep down I still believe in hope.
I mean, the arc of the universe is long, but I do believe it eventually bends towards justice. It eventually bends towards the right thing. Maybe that doesn't happen in our lifetimes, but I do think we end up there. And I think, look, the film, it's a good example of this, right? Like, say what you want about Abby Hoffman and the various other people who are tried. It's not like you come away from this saying, oh, Richard Nixon, what a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And like, to me, that's a good example. Like, is there a single film where Richard Nixon is ever the hero? He's not even a hero of the movie called Nixon. Right. So, in other words, history sort of makes its own decision, and I think in a way, this film, for all of its Sorkininess and even its sort of filtered Spielberginess, I think the conclusion is it might as well have been Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I agree.
The very end of the movie, and I want to be clear. I'm not saying that as a diminutive. I mean, I'm obviously Sorkin is bringing that influence in. I'm on board for all of that. What I wanted to mention earlier was just sort of my continued awe and reverence for the goddamn national icon that is Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I'm really loving this stage of his career.
We're living through the Keaton Sans.
Yes, we absolutely are.
Right.
Yeah, and then when he just shows up, you're like, oh, here we go. Right.
What I most loved as I was watching it with my kids, my 11-year-old's like, huh, Michael Keaton. I was like, that's my boy.
That's great.
But I mean, he's in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And yet he makes a meal out of it.
Absolutely.
And that just says something about this movie. I don't want to overhype it, but I will say this. I think all of us are sort of primed for a movie like this. Just, it's like thoughtful, it's got a lot going on, and you can just sit and weirdly, it's like perfectly suited to watching at home on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know that this would be a blockbuster hit, especially given the sorting that's happened even pre-COVID, as far as these types of movies playing in theaters. But it is a perfect, like, just sit at home, make a night of it, watch it, you'll get something positive out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
So there we go. Big 2 thumbs up for Trial of Chicago 7. This is the most Siskel and Ebert segment we've done in a while, it feels like.
I gotta say, I mean, when I started watching this, I was just relishing in the idea that there was a new movie that I was probably going to like and that we'd get to talk about it.
I know.
It just feels like we haven't had, or something has come out streaming and maybe you haven't caught it yet, or I haven't caught it yet, but we'll get to it. But this felt like the first sort of event in a while.
We had The Five Bloods a couple months ago. It feels like a couple months ago.
Yep.
But nothing since then, I don't think.
Yeah.
We had there was a couple of the streaming. We had like Class Action Park and stuff like that.
Right.
In the middle, but hopefully we get at least a couple more of these before the year is out.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So let's take a short break. We'll come back, talk through some listener letters. And we are back, and we have just a couple listener letters here to cycle through.
Yeah.
So here was a message that Tom McClellan left for us on our Facebook page where, after our Back to the Future 3 commentary, we mentioned we're going to come back with The Lost World, which is coming up. That is our next commentary track. Mm-hmm. But Tom asked us to name our top 5 Steven Spielberg films, given that, in case anyone is unaware, we are both fans of Papa Spielberg.
Yeah. Well, do you want me to go ahead?
If you want to, feel free.
Okay. Well, this is tough, right? I mean, I would say there are different tiers even of Spielberg because, I like Lincoln, of course, and Bridge of Spies and The Post, but I've enjoyed those films and I think he did a good job with them, but they haven't found their way into my heart, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the older stuff. And even Catch Me If You Can, it was like, ooh, that was hard not to include because I rewatched that recently and I'm like, I love that movie. But the movies that are just like to reuse my expression earlier, like chiseled into stone in Brian's heart. I would go, not necessarily in order because I think they could shuffle, but I would go E.T., of course, Raiders of the Lost Ark. You could probably add, of course, after all these. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Jurassic Park, and Last Crusade. And I even wrote Jaws, even though I didn't include in the 5 because I couldn't not type Jaws out.
That's funny.
But those are the ones that I couldn't get rid of.
See, I think my top 5 would be the same as yours, but I would probably swap out CE3K for Jaws.
Okay, yeah.
But other than that, basically the same. But that's, like you said, I had to think about it in terms of what's chiseled in my heart versus all the other stuff, which is so good. Like, I mean, post Schindler's, let's just use that as sort of our arbitrary demarcation point. Like, Spielberg became a fundamentally different director.
Yes.
Notwithstanding The Lost World, which is sort of like a vestigial remnant of previous Spielberg.
Right.
But like, you got Schindler's List, you got Munich, you got The Post, I mean, like, there's so many, Lincoln, like you said, like, there's so many good films he's done that are unabashedly worthy of recommendation. But are they in my top 5? No, but that's unfair because those, the Spielberg output of the 70s and 80s is just, I mean, we just had exposure to it at exactly the right time.
Yes, absolutely. And I think I the whole Close Encounters of Jaws, I can imagine some people being like, huh? Even we had a company call a week ago, and while we were sort of killing some time, someone mentioned, he's like, I know there's certain movies we're supposed to love, and I hope no one kills me on this, but can I just say I don't like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It was so random too. I was like, what? But I would never, ever begrudge anyone for that because I entirely admit that I don't think it's a perfect movie. It's a very personal movie for me.
Yes. Yeah.
And I experienced it at a certain age, and even as I grow up, there's things just that I pull from it that I sort of relate to, just emotionally even. So it's a very personal film for me. And,
what's interesting to me is I put Close Encounters in the same box as Jaws.
Yeah.
Stylistically and just in terms of, it feels very raw. Both of those films feel very... It's Spielberg figuring out what he can do as a storyteller.
Totally.
Right? And I think by the time we get to E.T.,
yes,
he's got it. He's figured it all out now.
I agree. Yeah.
Right. And E.T., I've said this before. Like, I always liked it. I grew to love it because of you.
Oh, really?
I truly I watch it all the time now, and I remember our commentary track where you were just, I mean, the stuff you're pointing out was stuff I hadn't even thought of, and now it is something that I share with my kids. Like, it's in our rotation.
That's I'm so happy. I really, it's so corny to say, but I truly can't think of another way to say it. But that movie is magic on celluloid, just on every level. I mean, to get John Williams, like, it's not just the visuals, it's the sound and the design of E.T. himself. I mean, it's just the sort of the magic of childhood and this kind of crazy adventure. That movie is just pure magic to me.
And folks, if admittedly I haven't listened to it, but I remember having recorded it, go into our archives, listen to our E.T. commentary track, which we recorded, I want to say 2017, I think. I can't remember. I believe it's
I'm sure if you Google it.
It's 2017, 2018, something like that. Give that a listen, and you will hear Brian unabashedly singing the praises of this film. And I defy you not to come away loving that movie the same way he does after listening to that track.
Wow. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. But in terms of recent stuff, I've said before, like 2 years ago, The Post was my favorite movie of the year. Munich from 2000, I want to say 2005. Yeah, that's right, 2005. It doesn't get talked about nearly enough. I think of like post 2000 output, it's among the very best movies Spielberg has done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in fact, I would go so far as to say it's among the very best movies he's ever done.
Wow.
I think it's complicated. It's it shows just the change in the types of subject matter that Spielberg was much more inclined towards.
Yeah.
And I've said before that Ready Player One I'm just not a particularly big fan of, and I think for me part of it is because when I watch that movie I just feel like he's just not here anymore.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what we said about it on the show, but I remember trying, like, I'll completely admit my own flaws, where I'm like always trying to like something that he does and find the way in. And I think I probably admired the spectacle, but said I didn't feel connected with it in any way.
Yeah.
But I've since sort of soured on it. Not soured, but I've just been disenchanted with it more and more, and I've caught a little bit on cable. And I just don't know why he made it. Like, it doesn't feel like his heart's into it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd be really curious to hear him get a little candid about it. And
yeah, I mean, how did that movie do? I mean, I think it did okay, right?
I think it probably did fine.
Yeah,
I don't recall, but or the BFG too, by the way, which I have not seen.
I haven't either.
Seems like a real sort of. I mean, it hasn't even been that long, but it's been kind of long forgotten already.
That's like the first outright flop he's had in a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I've never seen Amistad.
Oh my God! I saw it when it first came out,
mm-hmm.
and I admired it.
Yeah.
But it hasn't particularly stayed with me. Good performances though. That was the first time I saw Djimon Hounsou was in that movie.
Right. I kind of remember that. That was sort of a breakout for him.
I mean, he had been in like other stuff, but that was the first time he had like a real role. Right. And you have a sense like, okay, this guy's probably going to be going places. So that's
right.
been kind of neat to see borne out. But I think in the Papa Spielberg era, Munich, The Post, Lincoln, those are the ones that come to mind for me.
Yeah, same.
We've talked about Crystal Skull plenty of times. I mean, whenever we see him try to sort of recapture what he did previously, it doesn't seem to work quite as well.
Maybe that's just it. His heart's not into it, I mean, I hear this with musicians a lot. They'll talk about, playing my favorite song.
Yeah.
But they're like, well, I wrote that 20 years ago. Like, I'm not that guy anymore.
Right.
So like I'll play it because everybody loves it, but that's just not, a different person wrote that song.
Yeah. Life goes on.
Yeah. So you wonder if that's kind of a similar phenomenon.
Yeah. So anything else, Brian?
Yeah, well, we had someone who had written in previously, Noah from the Movie Maniacs podcast. He's written in before and been very complimentary, and we really appreciated it. And we've gone on and listened to his podcast, which we've really enjoyed. And we also love he sent us in like really fun questions.
Yeah,
we've enjoyed answering. So anyway, it was really cool connecting with him. But then, to our surprise, in the mail we received T-shirts, you and I, for the Movie Maniacs podcast, and we just wanted to shout him out and say thank you so much. That was so thoughtful. I've already worn it twice.
They are very comfortable shirts, I guess.
They are. They're really soft. Yeah, but it was just we really appreciate you. Listening, and it's been really cool getting to chat with you even, and so thank you for the thoughtful gift. It's really awesome.
Thank you, Noah.
Yeah.
Let's take a little break, and we'll talk some headlines right after this. And we are back, and hey, Hollywood seems to have ground to a veritable halt, but things are still happening.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because there was an announcement for Adam McKay's new movie, right?
He of The Big Short fame, which I was just discussing.
Yeah, I mean, he did, Anchorman was sort of his big movie out of the gate, which of course made a huge impression, but then he, Big Short and Vice, and he's kind of firmly established himself as a filmmaker to watch and get excited about, right? So I saw this announcement, right, where his new movie has Jennifer Lawrence, and then they added Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Timothy Chalamet, Ariana Grande, like just a crazy cast, right? And Cate Blanchett. And then as I read further, it says, so this will be on Netflix. And I was like, wow. Like, it just felt like we have crossed the Rubicon, right?
Yeah.
Like, this movie should be an event movie, right? And it will be, I'm sure. But, like, It'll be an event movie beamed into our living rooms. All A-list. I mean, the A-list of the A-list actors. This really interesting A-list director, and that's not to disparage Netflix at all. I can't wait to watch it, and I really appreciate Netflix for providing this content. But it just felt, my first impression was like, wow, the times they are changing.
Right.
Right?
It's true.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so what it's about, it's called Don't Look Up, and apparently it tells the story of two low-level astronomers who must go on a giant media tour to warn mankind of an approaching asteroid that will destroy Earth. So, I'm into it. I'm into it. I like all those people. So,
is this going to be more in the vein of your Anchorman than the more recent stuff?
I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be sort of a Respect Your Planet film. That's my guess.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's kind of what he does. Like he even in the Other Guys, right, which was like a buddy cop riff.
Yeah.
He found a way to sort of take things that he feels are important in real life and, made the villain sort of a way in to show us just how, the billionaires are sort of cheating all of us.
Right.
So I have a feeling he will have some sort of message that's important to him in this.
Well, and you mentioned The Other Guys, and it's worth saying again, I feel like that is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah. That movie doesn't get rerun or quoted as much as some of his others, but yeah, that movie is really, really fun.
It's so funny, and I said before, like, the cameo that Dwayne Johnson and Sam Jackson have.
Yes.
Like, I was gasping for breath, and my stomach was hurting. I was laughing so hard.
Right.
Really good movie. I agree with you. Adam McKay does a movie, I'm interested.
Yep. Totally agree.
That's where I'm at.
But interestingly, I mean, with this movie, like I say, sort of the lead for me with that was that it was this enormous movie with this enormous cast was going straight to streaming. I mean, that seems to be the way of things, understandably, in this moment when we still have major markets closed. But likewise, Coming to America 2.
Coming to America.
America, yes. When that was announced, it was like, oh, holy cow, right? Like,
yes.
That's crazy that that's getting a sequel, and that was being made by Paramount, but now with theaters, a lot of theaters closed, that's going to be coming to Amazon. And similarly, Pixar finally announced that their movie Soul, which was supposed to come out either spring or summer this year, is going to be coming straight to Disney Plus on Christmas Day, so December 25th. And unlike Mulan, it won't have an additional charge. Like, if you subscribe to Disney Plus, you'll just be able to watch it.
So that tells us, seems anyway, that the Mulan experiment didn't go particularly well.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because you don't know who to believe. I mean, the streamers have kept everything very, very close to the vest, right? And I thought I had read, I don't know if it was who does that, like Nielsen or whatever. They did some calculus, and it looked like Mulan made quite a bit of money, but maybe they just realized, I don't know, maybe just the appearance of it all sort of turned people off, and they thought it was just not worth it to do that again. Or,
I mean, think about it. If you're a streaming platform and you're charging people, say, $7 a month, and then on top of that, it's like, hey, pay an additional $30 to watch this thing. Well, then, if people are not already subscribing, you've erected two barriers.
Yeah, no, believe me, I don't want to do that.
Right.
So yeah, whatever it was. Well, there was some sort of quarterly call, right, recently with Disney, and that they announced that their top priority right now is streaming.
Yeah. And they're basically like, we're reading the tea leaves. This is where we were headed anyway before COVID just screwed everything up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you say, if you have Soul, a big new Pixar movie, which looks great, by the way.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. And so if this is a movie where you say, if you want to watch it, you got to subscribe to Disney Plus, that's a way of getting a bunch of new people in the door.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? And we know enough about these monthly subscriptions that, generally speaking, once people subscribe, they tend to just keep it.
That's true.
Right. With the the drop off is whatever, and the goal is to keep the drop off within a certain amount. So if that's the case, then it makes more sense, if you're Disney, to just lean into trying to get as many people to subscribe as possible.
Right. Right.
So we'll see. I don't know. You and I, we keep talking about it. This last several months has been us trying to figure out what's happening to theatrical distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I've been talking to people online who are either despondent or saying, "Hey, stop panicking."
Mm.
And I'm kind of like, either right now, this moment, either we are talking about Y2K or the last days of Pompeii.
Yeah.
I don't know which.
I know. We don't know.
So unless we wake up as encased in ash for all eternity, we just won't know. Is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Does it cause emotion inside of me? Like, because I love the theater going experience. Yes. Like, it makes me a little nervous, but I'm with you. Like, I don't feel like I can expend too much energy on it because I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't know yet. But
Obviously,
I sympathize with the people who currently are having to worry about it and figure it all out
in a much more real way.
certainly.
Yeah. And you mentioned, I mean, Coming to America was going to be a big Paramount release, and they offloaded it. I mean, that tells you something about sort of their financial situation right now. Because, by the way, Trial of Chicago 7 was also a Paramount movie.
I was just going to say, yeah.
You know, so they're obviously hemorrhaging cash right now because of the Viacom merger,
Right.
with CBS. The cash flow and all these things. I mean, every studio has their own streaming thing.
Yep.
And that's the focus now, really.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of funny how that worked out?
It
Got
is,
all
right?
these places
Yeah.
sort of set up, and now they can actually put something valuable on them.
Yeah, because Comcast, Universal, they got Peacock,
Mm-hmm.
right? CBS, Viacom, they have it's CBS All Access. All as of January, it's going to become Paramount Plus.
Right.
Disney is Disney, and it's just this is where things are headed now. So.
Mm-hmm.
We're in it. That's it. But hey, did you see the trailer for this new movie with Mel Gibson called Fat Man?
I did, yes.
This is one of these things where somebody texted it to me and they're like, "You got to watch this." I put it on the TV, and my kid, my oldest, he's like, "Is this a Saturday Night Live sketch?"
Right.
Because tell me it didn't seem like that.
No, it absolutely does.
So the pitch here is that this is Mel Gibson as like the real Santa Claus,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like this badass assassin.
Yeah.
I think.
In cahoots with the government.
Yeah, and basically one kid who misbehaved got a lump of coal, and so he hires a hitman to take out Santa Claus.
Yes.
Now, you got Mel Gibson in full like 2020 Mel Gibson mode,
Mm-hmm.
and then Walton Goggins is just great and everything. And the thing with this trailer is, I watch it and I'm like, I feel like I just seen the movie. Like, I don't know what you do for 90 minutes with this, right?
Right. Yes.
Because
Also, yeah, go ahead.
Well, it reminded me of the Grouch trailer that was on Saturday Night Live where they made fun of Joker.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? That is such an apt comparison because I thought it was going to be a little more fun.
Right.
Like it looked kind of deadly serious.
Yeah.
For such a ridiculous premise. And I'm not saying that I wanted it to like wink and make boing 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 noises at me or
Right.
something, to tell me how silly it is. But it did feel like really serious, much more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what to make of it. I mean, I do want to see it.
Yeah, I need someone to tell me if it's worth it, personally, but yeah.
I mean,
Let me know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll probably end up catching it.
Yeah.
It's just it's disappointing because every major release is just getting kicked down. I'll be honest. One of the movies I was most looking forward to was Jurassic World 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this partially because I do have just a lot of affinity for that franchise, but this film specifically is going to bring back our OG characters.
Yeah, I've become less and less enchanted with each outing of these movies, and I'm never gonna not watch them. And I enjoy them in the moment, but I don't love them necessarily, and I don't ever revisit them. And I'm talking about the
recent one,
the recent trilogy. And but yeah, knowing that the characters that I absolutely love, I adore obviously the first movie, and I have so many emotional attachments from throughout my life to that movie. That movie means a lot to me. And so to know that those people were going to be coming back, that, I mean, I wouldn't miss it.
Right.
So yeah, to see this one keep getting kicked down the street.
It was supposed to be 21. It was, and it just so happened that, I mean, it was looking like the big movie that was gonna come out when theaters come out. Like that, everything else had vacated a date, and that was still there. It was supposed to be next summer. And then my sense is they pushed it to 2022 more because of like all the other movies that are being rescheduled. Right? Like, Fast and Furious and every, like, in other words, it's almost like this one is going to be like ready to go for next year. So since we're still clearing off the calendar of 2020 movies, 2021 is basically just going to be 2020.
Yeah.
The mulligan,
Sort of a surplus of films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're like, all right, well, that one. But I'm like, that's the one I've been waiting for.
I know. Well, it also has been shut down more than once.
Yeah, because they've had like COVID
testing.
issues, right?
Yeah. So I don't know how much that's affected it.
That's a good point. Well, I mean, the Batman was supposed to come out next year.
Right.
And that's been kicked to 2022.
Yep.
Which is, when you think about it, that means it'll be a full 10 years since The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be 10 years since we had a solo Batman movie.
Man, that's...
Right? Which...
Yeah, weren't people saying too soon when this was announced?
Yeah.
Like, well, it's going to turn out just about right, I suppose.
I mean, obviously we had Batfleck in the middle, but if we're just looking at solo movies, this is the biggest gap in Batman movies since 89.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because what was it? 80. Let's see. That was 97. Was Batman and Robin? So 8 years between Batman and Robin and Batman Begins.
Yeah. Whew. Wow.
Crazy. So anyway, nothing makes sense anymore. And
see, and that's what's so tough too, is because there's been so many announcements for movies, also, right? And all these movies being made, but just the distribution of them is still somewhat hazy at the moment. But I admired them for continuing to press forward. And one of the ones that I was really excited to hear about this past week is that they're going to make a new Mad Max movie.
Yeah,
right?
except
with George Miller.
George Miller is making it.
Yeah.
That makes me excited. Nothing else about it makes me particularly excited.
Yeah, I think I was just so excited at the idea of another... I mean, I know it won't be this, but I was like, another Fury Road? Like,
right.
Sign me up. Right? But yes, apparently Charlize Theron will not be back. Anna Taylor-Joy.
So this is... Yeah, we should say it's not Mad Max. It is Furiosa.
Right.
And more specifically, it's Furiosa Begins.
Yeah, right. Which, I mean, I guess I'm not as attached to this series, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, I liked her character and I like the action that he brings, so I'm there for that event. But yeah, I guess I can see where if you're like, well, where's Max?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
And even I'm kind of like, well, if you want to make a Furiosa movie, then you get Charlize Theron, and let's see where she is after where Fury Road left her.
I totally agree.
That's interesting.
Totally agree. She was so good in that movie.
She was great, right? And so whatever the rationale, let's assume it's not ageism or whatever. It's Miller saying, oh, there's a backstory here that's worth looking at. I'm kind of like, I first of all, I am about as big a George Miller fan as possible to be. So any movie he makes, I'll watch it. Mm-hmm. But I'm also like, I'm not particularly interested in Furiosa's backstory. I think everything...
See, again, I'm like, I'm curious in the action that surrounds her.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of what I'm, sort of getting excited
I'm like,
about.
do I care about how she lost her arm or whatever? I mean, not really. Like, I feel like everything we need about her is in the movie.
Right.
Obviously, I need to couch everything I'm saying as, but of course I'll watch it. But
right.
I'm curious what the turnaround on this is going to be because Fury Road took like 10 years or something ridiculous to get made.
Right, and everyone working on it thought this was never going to work. So it sounds like it was just an undertaking. I
mean, that's the other thing, honestly. I mean, obviously, George Miller's not getting any younger, and I would just as soon he'd do another Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, hey, something within that world, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, and we should say that Chris Hemsworth is also part of the cast.
Yeah, and I'm curious if he'll be the villain. Actually,
Interesting.
that would be my guess,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking, if you're Chris Hemsworth, do you what is he? What is he going to be, the huntsman again? You know what I mean? Like that, right? What would
Right.
be interesting to him, I would assume, is playing something that's slightly against type.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. We'll see.
Here was another. Speaking of casting news, Jamie Foxx is going to appear in the next Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. So what does that lead you to think about where the story's heading?
Well, what Jamie Foxx has said, I think he said this in a post on Instagram, which has since been deleted, that he's looking forward to being back and not being blue.
right.
So if you remember, Jamie Foxx played the role of Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I realize when I say if you remember ... Amazing Spider-Man 2, many of you listening probably don't. That was a movie that came out 6 years ago, but it might as well have been like 60 years ago.
Yeah.
And Jamie Foxx was in it. I think a pretty forgettable villain, right? That's a fair statement, right?
I barely remember that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. But he will be back as Electro. Will it be the same Electro, or like kind of like how J.K. Simmons is back as J. Jonah Jameson, but it's like a different J. Jonah Jameson?
Right.
So my thought is, clearly Sony is trying to get their Sinister Six thing going.
Right.
And they need to very quickly put all the chess pieces on the board. And what better way to do that than like, well, we've already done Electro, Jamie Foxx is good, let's just do like a version of that. And people already kind of know him. Mm-hmm. That's my guess is why they're doing that.
Right.
I think based on what we've seen of, remember the Morbius trailer? Remember that was a movie that's supposed to come out like this month?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember Keaton was in that at the end of that?
Oh man, I forgot.
Yeah, Michael Keaton shows up as as the Vulture. Mm-hmm. Right? So again, it's clear Sony's very quickly trying to get their Sinister Six characters together.
Right.
So this is like one quick way to just get another one on the board. Right? Because we got the Vulture already. Let's assume Morbius, probably Venom. There's 3. Add Electro to the mix. That's 4. Mysterio, obviously, like, come on, Mysterio's going to be back.
Right. Well, and what I thought possibly was going to happen with this story is that,
like some kind of multiverse.
Yeah, exactly. With Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are.
Well, what's interesting is so yeah, this was a rumor that broke out this past week that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are coming back for the next Spider-Man movie. Sony actually issued a denial of that. But denials don't mean anything.
No, you have to.
Right? Yeah, it's just par for the course. So the actual text of Sony's statement, it says that this is what they told Entertainment Tonight. Those rumored castings are not confirmed. Which is, I mean, that's vague enough.
Right.
To say, well, yeah, it's probably because it's in negotiations right now. Mm-hmm. So clearly, in addition to Sinister Six, what Sony's also trying to do is allow for eventually just shutting off the MCU part of these movies.
Right.
So eventually they're going to close the door to the Marvel. I think we said this, right? When they made the deal for the third Spider-Man, it's like one more Spider-Man movie produced by Marvel. Mm-hmm. And they've even said that Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be in it.
Right.
And then one more Marvel movie guest starring Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Now, after that, if in my opinion, I think that's it.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I think it's interesting. I'm excited for another Spider-Man movie, which wasn't the case like 6 years ago.
Right.
So there is that. I think it's interesting because Sony, despite the many times we've like poked fun at them over the years for generally abysmal handling of their properties, they seem to be handling their Spider-Man universe pretty smartly.
Yeah.
At least in terms of box office success, right? Because The Into the Spider-Verse was great. Venom is a brand new franchise. Who would have thought that? So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I hear some music, Brian.
It's been a while.
I haven't heard this music in a while. So we finally have some Star Wars news. Talk to me.
Christmas comes early, Zachy. No, I'm sorry. Life Day.
Life Day.
Life Day has come early and brought us a gift. It turns out the Star Wars Holiday Special is coming back. Did you ever think I would ever say those things?
That's a bizarre place to exist. But 2020, I don't rule anything out.
Right. And for people who don't, know the joke, is basically Star Wars came out in 1977, and then wanting to capitalize on that, in 1978, there was a TV variety show, the Star Wars Holiday Special, which was just, a fascinating mess.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the word.
Right, so
I would say just mess, but fascinating is certainly a generous way of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, like B. Arthur and Art Carney and Jefferson Starship are all guests on this thing.
all the people you think of when the word Star Wars present
Yes.
in front of your eyeballs.
Yeah. Princess Leia sings a song. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I know for you and I, when we were younger, we would hear about this thing, but it would be something that we would probably never see. Like, you'd have to get a bootleg
Yep.
at some sort of convention. And George Lucas has addressed it himself, saying that if he ever encountered one of, any tape of it, he would just put a hammer to it. Like, he hates it. So just saying Star Wars and Holiday Special has become sort of a thing that just induces a smile, right? But it turns out now with Disney Plus, Lego, I guess, is going to do their own version of a holiday special, which will involve Life Day, which is kind of funny. And it's going to have, apparently, the new, I don't want to say cast, but the new characters, because it's going to have Rey, Finn, Poe, Chewie, Rose. But it's an adventure that's going to send Rey through the timeline, so she will encounter Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Yoda, Obi-Wan.
And these will all be the Lego characters.
All Lego characters, which of course has its own sort of inherent tone, right?
Yes.
Like kind of this wacky.
Right.
It's kind of funny, right? Because doesn't Lego, their movies come out with Warner Brothers, right? So
Well, they were with Warner Brothers, but that contract is over now, apparently.
Oh, I did not realize. So anyway, this is, I don't know. I mean, this is going to be, I think, kind of a fun, wacky hour or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Your feelings?
My kids will watch it.
Yeah. I could see turning it on for sure, out of curiosity. And if it's funny, great. And if it's
Right.
not for me, then that's fine too.
I mean, I have seen relatively recently the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh, really?
In its entirety. I mean, it's on YouTube, the whole friggin' thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's weird because for all the, over the years, the way this was this like, mysterious artifact and you had to track it down like you're Indiana Jones. Now it's like 2 seconds away on YouTube.
I know. So yeah, a little bit of the mystery and intrigue of it is lost.
Yeah.
Probably
So it's
now,
it's this piece of shit that's just there and accessible, and you can. I mean, it defies description because for all of George Lucas's protests about they like did this and they did that, it's like, dude, you're telling me you had no say in any of this, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I've read things about it, and it was produced and run by the type of team that would have done these sort of variety shows. So I don't know if he was like, yeah, sure, fine.
Which is fine, but everybody is in it. I mean,
yes. I mean, Harrison Ford, for goodness sake.
Harrison Ford is in it.
Yeah.
And he's, what makes it so much worse is that he's like kind of trying to do something with it. You know what I mean? Like, he seems, let me put it this way. He seems slightly more engaged than in like at least a third of Return of the Jedi.
Really?
I mean, in the sense
I've never seen this all the way through, I should say.
Let me be very clear. It's terrible. I mean, but what makes it worse is again, Harrison Ford he's clearly trying to, like,
He's showing up.
He's showing up. He's doing the best he can with absolutely nothing.
Right.
Whereas, like in Return of the Jedi, basically the whole time he's like, it's just a lot of that.
Right.
Here we're getting. it's, there's inflection and some degree of movement from him,
Right.
But you're like, why is he in this? I mean, truthfully, he's in it more than any of the other like original actors,
Huh.
right? Because the whole thing is Han and Chewie are trying to get home to Kashyyyk so that Chewie can meet his family for Life Day.
Right.
And so that involves, I mean, there's just nothing I can say that properly sums up how misbegotten this whole thing is.
Yeah.
It's just a car wreck on top of a shark attack on top of an asteroid hitting. It's like so many things wrong at once.
Yeah.
And
well, interestingly though. Oh no,
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, and yet there is Harrison Ford as Han Solo, like fighting a stormtrooper.
Which I imagine at the time was thrilling because they didn't have. VCRs existed, but most people didn't have them, right?
Yeah.
So or Star Wars, I should say, at least wasn't on video at that time, so you couldn't rewatch it as much as you wanted. But if you wanted to see Han Solo again, if you want to see Luke Skywalker again from through your television, this was the way to do it.
And this is my point. Remember, they had to negotiate with Harrison Ford to get him back for The Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no sequel clause in effect at all for Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of dump truck full of money did he get for this piece of crap?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, what I was going to say then, interestingly, is that the leads of the new Star Wars films are not going to be in this, right? So
Makes
Daisy
sense.
Ridley, Oscar Isaac, Boyega,
Yeah.
But the people who are going to be there are, who am I saying? Billy D. Williams, Kelly Marie Tran, Anthony Daniels.
Okay.
But the people who are going to be playing Yoda and Obi-Wan are people from the animated shows.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just sort of like, they didn't,
Yeah.
be bothered.
Well, I mean, we've said this before. I don't know about Daisy Ridley, but she's said like she had trouble getting work.
Right.
She's had trouble finding work, but like John Boyega and Oscar Isaac, they had already checked out during the promotional campaign for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
They-
And I'd even add, I feel like in things I've seen, Daisy Ridley seemed a little bewildered and eager.
I think all three of these actors, and I feel terrible for them, in that they probably expected a vastly different experience than they got,
Right.
without realizing that Star Wars fans, many of them are just the absolute literal worst.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they came in an era where, obviously people were really harsh on the prequels, right? But
Yeah.
they came in at like peak, person behind computer yelling,
Yeah.
like the worst of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That could not have been.
So John Boyega, you see interviews with him. He is like a man who is free.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I'm done with it. I've had it. So not terribly surprising. Unfortunately, the reality is it's going to take another 20 years before we see that, actually kids liked these new Star Wars movies just fine.
Yeah.
That's just the
It'll
reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other Star Wars news?
Well, there was some stuff. I don't know too much about this, honestly, but about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, if you can tell me about that.
Well, it's coming.
I think it's starting like spring next year, right? So, it's not anytime soon.
That's the plan. So they've said this is not a thing that's going to be coming back again and again. It is meant as a limited series. So beginning, middle, end, not multiple series of Obi-Wan adventures.
And I'm okay with that. Just stick the landing, man. Just do it.
Just do a
make
good
this
job
thing-
with it.
I would hope their delay, right, where they were in pre-production,
Yeah.
as I understand it, and then decided, nope, back to the drawing board. I respect that. Like, do it right. Do it right. So I hope this is just a really special mini-series that we'll get. And, yeah. How lucky are we that Ewan McGregor wants to do this?
That he wants to, yeah. Well, and
right.
what I've read is that it picks up 8 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
And so, in other words,
So Luke could be 8.
Right, exactly. So we're roughly halfway between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, right? Because what is that, 19 years?
Yeah, right? Is that how old he is?
That he's 19 in Star Wars.
Okay.
I think that's right. Somebody else
Feels right.
tell me. I don't care. Whatever. But I'm excited about it. I don't know. I mean, with COVID and everything is pushed in weird ways too. But this is going to be 6 episodes, and that's it, one and done.
You know what? But when I was saying earlier, where you have the Furiosa movie and you have these things being announced, and you're like, well, I hope they can get them shot in the can, but then also, what does it mean about their distribution? Like, that's still a little hazy.
Yeah.
But Disney Plus, where they're putting all in on streaming, I mean, this feels like perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're all going to get delivered this series, and it's probably going to be very popular. So,
yeah. So we'll see what happens.
yeah.
Well, that's nice. I think we covered our bases there.
Yeah.
What else? Anything else going on, just in general? How's things going? How's life, Brian?
It's going. It's going still.
We were talking about the Rise of Skywalker, and it's this weird, just the time warp we're living in, where it feels like Mandalorian season 1 was like a couple months ago, but Rise of Skywalker, which came out after, feels like 50 years ago.
Yeah, my memory's tied to that. I feel like a long time ago. And I was telling Zachy that I have this. I've mentioned, I think, on the show before because it really hurts me. But this sushi restaurant that I just loved, we went there every week, closed down. So I was kind of driving past it just as a little, kind of reflection.
Yeah.
And there's a smaller movie house next to it that's not, an ArcLight or an AMC or anything. And on their marquee, they still have Star Wars 9.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that's incredible. So
you're like Will Smith in I Am Legend.
yes, that's exactly what it feels like. Sort of overgrown sidewalk weeds, in like a movie that, I think of as being sort of long in the past.
Yeah. Well, good times.
Yeah.
So let's. I think that's a good place to wrap things up. What do you say?
Yeah, sounds good to me. As I said, though, I mean, in these sort of weird times, this is always one of my favorite parts of the week.
Well, I
This is
appreciate
just
that.
I leave this smiling. I come into this going like, all right, let's do this. And then I leave it just beaming. So I'm so thankful for that.
I'm grateful for that, and I feel the same way because generally speaking, we record at the end of the week, and it's weird how I'm teaching from home. I'm not inconvenienced in any real way, and yet I'll tell you, by Friday afternoon, I am wiped out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I have no explanation, but the fatigue is real. So it's nice to be able to just sort of chill out and bullshit about whatever for a couple hours.
100%.
And we will be bullshitting next week about The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I got to rewatch that. I mean, I could do Jurassic Park this week and not have to rewatch it, right? Like
Right.
But Lost World, I gotta dive back in, and I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Well, better get on it.
Yeah.
So anything you want to hype up before we go?
Well, as always, Puppy Dog Pals. Our season 3 just wrapped, but it goes right into season 4. And these are episodes I had a lot of fun working on, so hopefully you and your kids will enjoy them.
Hopefully.
Oh, I say it every time. Disney, Disney Plus, Disney Junior.
There you go. As for me, you can find me at the San Francisco Chronicle. I did a review of the West Wing special, sponsored by When We Vote. So check that out. And then over at IGN, I have my full review of the trial of the Chicago 7. So a lot of Sorkin-y business that you can dip into there. Also, just to mark the moment in time, I just finished, before I got on the call with you, the 14th season of ER.
Oh, wow. Wait, how many is it?
15.
15. Oh,
I'm about to start season 15, Brian. I don't know if my life has any meaning once I finish watching this show.
That's gonna. I bet you're gonna feel a little bit of loss.
I'm just gonna walk into the ocean slowly. I don't know what's left. So who knows? By the time we record our next regular show, I will quite possibly be talking about ER in the past tense.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll let you know.
You know what? Can I say something just
Yes.
totally off the cuff? You just, as you were talking about walking in the ocean, I was thinking about holding a boombox over my head and playing a song for you. And then this is total just for us, off air kind of thing. But whenever we start the show, Zachy always tends to say something kind of funny to me, or he'll sing a little song or something. And I think it was either 1 week ago or 2 weeks ago, I pick up the call to start this, and he's just doesn't say anything, but he's playing Peter Gabriel's "In Your Eyes," which is the song that John Cusack plays as he's holding the boombox over his head, and he lets it go for like 10 seconds. No, doesn't say anything, and I just laughed so hard, and I've told so many people about this. And that's why I feel like it's even worth mentioning now, because it made me laugh so much, and it was so funny. I think it's worth sharing.
Were people like, what the hell?
No, everyone thought it was hilarious.
Oh, I'm glad.
It was such a funny joke.
Well, I'm glad it worked then. Whatever minimal effort I put into that, I'm glad it paid off. So that's a good thing. Yeah. As always, please, everybody, if you have any questions or comments for us, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Plenty of people do. So, be among the cool people who emails us. Will you? Won't you? You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. As always, please go to iTunes and leave a review, leave a star rating. I'm not seeing enough reviews popping up here, and I want everyone listening to know I am disappointed in all of you. I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell my kids. You are a great disappointment to me. I have nothing but regret when I think of you and your presence in my life. No, I'm just kidding. I swear to you, I'm just kidding. I don't say that. People are going to be like, what an asshole. I don't say that to my kids. I think it, but I don't say it. I'm not a monster. But please, my point is, come on. What do we got to do here? Leave a review. Leave a star rating if you like what we're doing. It helps. It's nice. It's a nice thing to do. It's a little thing you can do, and it helps us out. So please do that. And as always, listen to our next regular show in 2 weeks, and of course our next commentary next week. On behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, my name is Zachy Hassan. This has been Movie Film 210. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy